Hey, hey, hey! True Scalpers, we're back again. And it's another true live scalping session with the Mohawk Forex team, live here from the very soggy, thundery London. We're about 9 minutes away
Live
from the
from
Open,
beautiful California.
and today's PMI day. So not only have we got the Open to contend with, then we've got the PMI data as well. We're set up on US 30, 3-minute time frame as always, our AX trading system. And as always, go to www.mohawkforex.com for any information on how to join our team and VIP Discord channel. So we're 23 minutes away or so from the US market services, composite and manufacturing news. Then 50 minutes after that, we've got the new home sales news, all indicators of how inflation, rate hikes and everything are affecting people. So that should move the markets, move gold, NAS and US. And then later on, after our stream has ended, Fed speech from Chairman Powell, of course, will also be a good one to scalp if you're on gold. And then later on, just after the close, we've got the API crude oil that we're trading. So far, touch wood, he says, we've had a 100% win rate on that trade. We've had a good day already. We started on the 3,000. We started on 4,400, which was a spillover from yesterday's win where we started on 3,600, and we're already up to 5,015, and that is mostly due to the cable trade. Our usual daily cable trade based on the Asian session. I only grabbed 10 pips of this, but it ended up being a 100 pip move, which was great, and I hope some of the team grabbed this one, but I called it out bang on 8:30 as a sell. All you had to do was wait for that confirmation. Stochastic went red, and then as soon as the RSI clicked red at the same time, should have been in for a sell, and I was out here on the heavy resistance, which bought at the time. It broke it and carried on down, so you could have done a trailing stop, 2 trades, whatever. That was the big win of the day, 100 pipper on the old cable trade. Some of the old strategies are just the best. They still work, you know what I mean? The only thing with these is you just don't, I know they're meant to be mechanical, but you don't enter automatically. You just wait for other confirmations. You know the direction you want to go in, which was a sell. We knew that right from early on, but we just waited for the confirmation, and that was it. So that was good. And then also we got some nice wins on DAX on the Open for Euro and as well. Took a few small losses, as you do. We ended up. Look, we've done quick logging into broker IC markets.
And it's not 1 or 2 years, is it?
No, it's going to take a while. I think unless you really see inflation surprise investors to the downside.
We've done 28 trades already. I mean, 2 of those was pound dollar cable. 28 trades, and we took 3 losses. So, and like I say, at the moment we're on 444, $559 for the day, so that's pretty good. In and out scalp. After this session, I will take out any profits and count back down to 2,005. But we'll see how this goes. This Open, as you can see, US 30, like other indices, has tried to recoup some of those losses from yesterday, early on in the session. Bear signal all the way. We got the bull signal here, which win there on that breakout signal as well. Grabbed basically 20 pips on that. We pulled back. We tested our trend line, and again. And now obviously we're back to our breakout zone. So this is a crucial moment for 30 in terms of going to break the zone on the Open. RSI in the green but thinking down at the moment, so it's ranging on our wedge, of course. So if it's a sell on Open, that's good because we've got more price action to move. If it breaks the trend line, we go to our baseline 20, 200 points, and to the top side possibly get that magic. Yes. So we're set up, and then the bigger move will come once price breaks either the breakout zone here or our baseline down to our support. So, to say we've got then only 50 minutes after the open to wait for the PMIs, which is probably what the market is waiting for. It's the price action. Bloomberg plugged in as well. Always keep an eye on the bigger picture.
They've experienced losses so far year to date. So I think, taking advantage
Treasuries rally and S&P futures drop, similar to yesterday. Let's just switch this over to NAS. NAS is doing, again, that big drop, and then it's had a massive range, basically. A couple of good signals, a good bull signal and a nice bear signal to get you at least 110 pips on those. Worked out really well if you want to trade like that and take those. And NAS looking at sell at the moment. It's going to break our baseline here. 11,830. Chance of done it. Chance of 100 points down to our blue zone there. That's looking good. I'm not entering any trades because we're 3 minutes away from the open. On the US 30, trading 5 lots on IC markets, which is 4.5 on most people brokers. That's 50 cents. That's kind of the lot size I stick to. I don't go higher, and obviously I go lower, but once I get to kind of like an account size of 2,000 and above, I stick with 5, and that gets me what I need to get without risking much. But yeah, good luck everybody on this open. And remember to just wait for confirmation. You don't have to jump in straight away. Wait 30 seconds, 1 minute until you see something move before you jump in. That's the mistake I've made for jumping in too early. That Justin I hear in the background?
That is me, bud. How are we today?
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Live from sunny Northern California, headed to Nevada.
God.
See if I can lose some money. See if I can lose some money over in Reno. I'm definitely not losing any money on these charts.
No. Well, you need to win the money on here so you can lose it in Reno.
Exactly. That's what I'm going for.
Oh dear.
Nice wins on gold overnight.
My friend's brother's going to Reno actually in next week. Reno.
I don't know.
He's playing with. He plays with Boy George. I don't know if you heard of the artist Boy George.
Yeah.
He's playing in doing a show. He plays guitar for him. He's in Reno. He's doing Vegas, Reno, San Diego. He's there next week.
Oh yeah. That's what's up. Gold was a bit of a slow mover overnight. 1850 zone to 1862. Real nice buys and sells. Beautiful structure.
Oh.
You know me, I'm a gold fan.
Gold coming up here for the NY Open. Let's see what. Yeah, we've got 28 seconds to go. Be on US 30. Red already. Gonna break our zone here, look. Lower.
Oh yeah, we got Richmond Fed today too.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Powell speaks later. Be good for gold. Nothing positive that's come out of the Fed speeches.
See, that pull up. Oh, what a buy. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
See, get the pullback. They're moving around, so I like to see the good volatility. And gold, what's gold doing? Not a lot. Moment. That's going to sell on gold. Well, it's a buy or a sell on US 30. It's ranging around a little bit. We're in the neutral zone, so just wait for the move. There's no panic. No reason to jump into anything at the moment because RSI has not made a clear path. What's it going to do? A nice spike up. Market manipulation hitting the breakout zone. Is it going to break below? Stochastic's pointing down. Who knows? Wait for jump in, see what we can get. Gold, meanwhile, yeah, doing the same thing. It's trapped between a blue and two blue zones, basically. So again, Stochastic's red, RSI's green, so it's a mixed bag, as you can see. So just wait. In case of the PMI, 13 minutes. 30 still hasn't made a move yet. I expect this buyer could be a minute. Gonna test. A hell of a spike though. Poised. $50 seconds left on this first candle.
For the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, this is a Bloomberg Surveillance Live on Bloomberg Television and Bloomberg Radio, alongside Tom Keene here in a very foggy Davos, the Davos fog.
Very different. I mean, you know, we've had some hellacious snowstorms over the years. They're clapping here. They're clapping because we're using here, when we leave the New York Stock Exchange and the movement's down, Lisa's ensconced in our official wool Swiss blanket. It's got
Injection.
It's very good. That's what we use the lambs and the goats. Yeah. Is it goat wool or lamb wool?
It's sheep wool. No, but honestly, we are
Ejected off the double blue zone and the breakout zone. We're below the trend line now.
Take a look at some of those moves. Abigail Doolittle is
Let's push him back up. Finished, sat on our baseline. Perfect.
City for the New York Stock Exchange. Abigail, we know there's been a big focus on
RSI 58.
Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. We do have this bearish day with the indexes down more than 1%. It has everything to do with Snap, which is interesting because
bearish day, we've had a move up. We go, look at that. Nice move down. Look at it. Still waiting for the RSI to confirm. Not doing anything yet. Everything to sync up.
Pre-announced the downside relative to the profit outlook for the current quarter, saying that the macroeconomic picture has worsened so much. And remember, just a month ago, in April, they put up a good quarter. So it's a tremendously fast deterioration relative to inflation, interest costs, the Ukraine war.
Around.
Companies' outlook and tone really weighing on other social media companies. Meta Platforms down 8.1%. Alphabet is down nearly 7%. And Apple,
everyone's down. It's a bear market.
Well, in a way,
so we've had this kind of pullback. It's nothing. Bigger picture.
On there, down 1.1%. The point here is this is 20% of the NASDAQ 100. So that negative outlook and commentary out of Snap really weighing on the markets relative to tech. As for what is working, there is a bright spot. Interestingly enough, it's specialty retail. Take a look at Best Buy of 1.9%. They put up sales that beat better than feared. Inventories are okay. They trimmed the outlook.
So I like to see.
Right now, the CEO did say that they're seeing signs of softer demand, but not a recession. So some
perfect.
Petco, people are still spending on their pets, myself included, up 6.1%. Yes, I do have a cat, Jojo. Who
beautiful.
I have to,
got a 34
so I'm at Petco
on that.
Part of that beat, and they also held the outlook. Ralph Lauren earlier had been higher.
Back down again.
But now the stock is down. We'll of course be digging into that.
It's got the one trade on that so far, 34, which is about
some analysts saying it's impressive. Headwinds. Inventories up a little bit, suggesting that maybe the pandemic used car surge is going to
still undecided. Like I say, a lot of this can be due with the PMI coming up as well. Now we've got a few minutes left. The RSI just isn't going to break that. It's coming down again, so might be able to get some more bells.
That is because we're hearing so much caution, so much tentativeness in the market. Michael Purvis flat out disagrees. Chief Executive Officer, founder of Tallback and Capital Advisors, and far more expert on the Pacific Rim dynamics. We'll do that in a moment. Michael, what does the Bear Crew get wrong?
Well, it's Tom. I'm not categorically bullish here, but by any stretch, I think we're dealing with a lot of volatility.
Gold's going up.
Now in the very near term, when you
can see that as a buy on gold.
Valuation has
a nice one.
Improved, dramatically. We've dropped more than half a PE point just last week. The equity risk premium is much better shape. Positioning, as many people
go in US 30.
Is very, very, very bearish there, and that sort of creates a, sort of sets the table for some pretty vicious rallies here. That doesn't, if we get up to 4,400 here, which I wouldn't be surprised over the next few weeks, that doesn't mean, that's the end of, bearish activity in the broader market. I think there's cross-asset volatility is going to be elevated for some time, and that's going to keep people from sort of
sell was there.
buying the dips on a committed basis the way they had been in the past.
Michael Purvis, are the traditional tools useful now? You've been doing this for years. You and I've seen 8 colors of bear markets. Do the traditional metrics work?
Look, I think this is one of the most unusual cycles we've had. We've never seen, the sort of collision of a pandemic, once in a century pandemic, with our first, what I call big war.
Brilliant. Right, we actually got some trades away. Yay! Fantastic.
Fiscal policy concurrence, right? And on
We've
top
got
of
some more sales on that.
The rise in ESG investing, and
Thought it would be a sell in the end.
2.5 3 years that has, it's really inherently inflationary, right? So there's been it's a very, very unusual cycle, and I think there's a lot of good things happening. There's a lot of bad things happening. That's why I think we're sort of looking at.
Yeah, that's what he wanted. So there you go. It's officially a sell, which is thought. You just got to look at the price action of the candle. You're silly to take a buy against the breakout zone and the blue zones, no matter what. You're only going to catch that spike for a couple of pips and you're gone. So, to edge your bets, it was going to be a sell and a double top. As you can see, look, it's head and shoulders and down. So, RSI is red. So that is good enough. In and out on. The only reason I've not held longer is because we've got the PMI news coming in 5 minutes time, so we don't know what's going to happen there. Otherwise I probably would have held this candle and given it a fair chance of it coming down to our neutral support, which you might well do, but like I say, it's just a risk when you don't want to be in a trade coming to PMI. Stochastic's gone green as well. Gold on the other hand has shot up. Good buy on gold.
Than it has been in some time. There's
against the minor resistance now, but again looking at a double top kind of M pattern on here. So gold was a buy, and if you went in on the open there was the grey candle. So you were up. You could have got at least 100, 200.
on those same securities, those same equities. Option growth is growing at 8 or 9% a year every year. Cash volumes are flat.
I would suggest waiting
sort of further aggravated
for
price moves, which means interpreting Snap and whatever else have you, whether it be good or bad, is it just comes with a much higher noise to signal ratio.
Well,
that's good. That's took us to 526. So we're on 526 for the day. Good. Good.
It's really both. I mean, I think
that's been a couple of losses. Yeah, that was that wasn't a particularly easy open there. You had to really wait. And there you go. Look, now it's coming down to our neutral. So I could have held it. It's only because the news. You've gone red again. If you want to nip in and scalp that for a sell, it's more likely going to come off. But again, we're 1 minute, 5 minutes away from the news. So
that just makes things. It doesn't make it.
I don't know what this is going to do. It's right sat here on this level.
The markets, when you see these kinds of price moves, nor is it an endorsement.
RSI is pointing down. Stochastic's red, looking good. So I just want to wait for the.
Michael, this is a really important observation that you make here.
Don't want to be caught in a trade, having to end in a loss. Which is what a lot of people do. Panic, they're in a trade, and they'll just go, "Oh, whatever, I'm in the loss. I'll take it because it's only just going to go even a further loss." And then what happens is price action goes your way. So you're better off just avoiding that scenario by not being in the trade in the first place. That's
it's very specific to the strategy there, but yes, I mean, I think there is some.
Everything's down, as we know. We're in a bear market at the moment. Most things are under a 200-day average as well. Kind of the say
and so I think you have to really get
the
granular into what you're
definition of a bear market to a certain degree. So the stock's falling.
Until without cash volumes really climbing and making the market steeper there, you're going to have this condition where you're just going to have a lot of these crazy price moves.
logged in, so we've got 3 minutes to go. Then we've got a nice little gap to the final trades of the day, the new home sales. Hang around for a little bit and then we'll be off, and then we'll be back later on to snap gold up on Fed. When you start speaking, we like to see gold move. Speaking of gold, look, it's hit that resistance and done a nice sell-off. And again, I would be looking at a sell on this if it breaks this level, but I just want to wait for this news again. 4 minutes to go. Wait for the news release. Again, you could be there now, but you could trade. Breaks this level up. Got 50, 5 pips, 6 pips maybe on gold.
Ukraine invasion levels, right? Oil has not. Oil has gone higher. What has gone lower is copper. What has gone lower is Chinese economic data.
A definite buy on
when we're talking
open.
About this sort of reflattening of the
again, RSI
treasury bid
in green as soon as it shot up. Even though stochastic was coming down, that's probably telling you the momentum overall is going to be to the downside, but at its initial open, it's a buy. If they come both together, then you've got, like here, look, you've got a green stochastic, green RSI, break above our average line, good price action, away you go. Look, it's a bigger move, positive move. When you've got conflicting indicators, then you know you need to be just in and out, micro scalping. Let's come down. Again, no panic, there's no FOMO, you know, you want to be waiting this news to come out. Don't know.
The issue is complicated because if China reboots, you may see some goods inflation continuing to moderate there, right? If China Inc. is back in business, but at the same time, you have the second largest economy putting upward pressure.
In my news,
that will ricochet into Europe in both good and maybe some bad ways. So I think it's a really complex story there and very important for the U.S. Treasury discussion.
Michael Purvis of Talbot and Capital Advisors. We have to leave it there. Thank you so much. I do want to just note that we are seeing the NASDAQ break down a bit further, and you are seeing that relationship, the traditional one between bonds and stocks, reassert itself because you're seeing bond yields come in pretty much more significantly, price up, yield down, this bid to bonds accelerating with a flight to havens.
Well, there's some moves here. We've had 2 days of quiet, and all of a sudden the 2 days of quiet is over. Effective immediately. I got a 2.25% NASDAQ move down, and the yield space is really showing us the change here from, I'm going to call it Sunday Asia time, early Monday Asia time, out with a 10-year yield now 7 basis points.
Yeah.
278.
Yeah, we can touch on that with Kathy Jones coming up next of the Schwab Center for Financial Research. This is Bloomberg.
Keeping you up to date with news from around the world.
Right, let's make sure we're all logged in. We're on US 30 again. Yeah, all good. And US 30 has gone into a bit of a range now. Obviously, it's been waiting for this news. Is it going to be good? Is that going to be enough to push it higher? Is going to be a manipulation and a sell? We just don't know. We're trapped in here's our breakout zone. Look, you can see green and red. Only when price action breaks this will we generate another signal. It is a sticker. When you get a bull signal here, look, you get a quick win, but it's not a true bull break unless it breaks our breakout zone, which it didn't. The indicator's telling me it's a possibility, but it didn't. And same with the sell. So if you ever see these signals and you're using them, just know be cautious and they're in and out trades. But once you get a bull or bear signal, once price actions break of a zone, then it's a big move. Usually. We go. Good luck on the news. Let's see what we get. It looks like it's all as expected. The market manufacturing 57.5 as expected. It's going to push US 30 up. Composites down. Is it going to break the zone? Wait for that wick down. See, get a couple of wins out of this. Cool. Cool. But yeah, we've got wins all round on that. Brilliant. Well done, everybody. PMI news was a good buy. Thank you. I closed 1, 2, 3. I got 4. Oh, sorry. I got 1, 2, 3 positions, and I got 40, 40, and 55. So we're talking $200 there on the buy on that news. That was an easy one. A good one. I hope you all caught that. An easy one to follow. As you can see the green candle, you can see the RSI, you can see the stochastic pointing up. That was a nice easy buy. And again, I've expected to be a sell with this market services and the composite being lower, but the actual manufacturing PMI overall as expected, which can produce a bullish move. And we might get a rebound and a sell, but news overall bad. As I'll say, if the market gives itself a pat on the back and says well done, we'll see what Bloomberg says. There's a rejection. Look.
Welcome to Dead Brick Australia. This is Bloomberg Technology.
Bloomberg Green. On TV, radio, and the web. This is Bloomberg.
Let's wait for the RSI to dip, and you can probably get a sell here. Just wait and see. Might push up higher. Will be a sell. Wait for the rejection. Chance to go in again. We've got news in 10 minutes. Remember, 10 minutes. Oh, look at the gold. Gold was perfect on the PMI. Wow. That. And gold went perfect. You know, bad news. Gold was a lovely buy. I hope Justin caught that.
When you think space, you probably think one space agency that travels under the radar is ESA. Which is surprising.
So yeah, we know gold always goes the reverse of the news mostly, and there's the proof of it. Look at that, and it's right against that heavy resistance. Beautiful move. On heavy resistance now.
But ESA wants to be a leading force in furthering humanity's mission into space.
Commander Ground, do you copy? Copy.
If we want to have a
See if it's going to get a resistance, a drop.
We are going to have to learn to live and work off-world.
We did, yes. Beautiful team. Scalping. I took the sell on gold. I got 60, 64, and 42. Another $220. Look at that on the sell. Beautiful. This is what happens when you've got our axe trading system. You see that heavy resistance, you know you're going to get a kickback.
And what does that mean? Combustion engines get electrified.
It doesn't get any simpler.
We have some breaking data as we broadcast here from Davos, Switzerland. We get PMI information from the United States, from S&P Global. Let's
Beautiful.
get to Abigail Doolittle, since it is moving the markets quite a bit. Abigail.
Yep,
Well,
here we go.
We do have solid misses here for many of these PMI numbers. So let's break it down, because there are, of course, 3 indexes to take a look at. The manufacturing index is the smallest miss. The actual coming in at
Well, US 30, we're probably going to get a sell now, and gold's going to continue going high after that pullback.
On the street saying that some of the misses that we've seen in retail
Big miss.
services as folks want to get
Big,
out and do things
as you
after
can
the
see,
pandemic.
look,
That
they
miss
predicted
at
55, it was 53, 55 and 53, only the marketing and the manufacturing kept it.
53.8 versus the survey at 55.7. And importantly, a year ago, that composite index at 68.7, so dropping by 15.
This is the kind of scalping I love. I love trading fundamentals, and this is why.
Above 50 indicates that there's expansion. Below 50 is a contraction. So right now, all of these PMI indexes for the U.S. for the month of May, the preliminary reading,
in a contraction.
But going in the wrong direction. The trend is certainly down.
but still above 50.
Radio and television, it's simple. The line moves down. If you're looking at a 10-year yield on a yield basis, we've come in 7-8 basis points. These are
so now, woohoo, that's took our account. We're up to 828, so we're over $1,000 for the day. So that is perfect, and that's a good time to bail out. We'll trade this news in 9 minutes time, but that's great. That's took our account to 5,400. I remember we started on 3,600 yesterday, so well happy at that. $1,000 starting from, you know, 4,000. That's been a great day. Thanks to that news. Great moves, great moves. Who's scalping? What it's all about. There's the gold. And our heavy resistance again, pulled back.
Oh yeah, I think if we go below 2.5% on the 10-year, that's going to signal
Nasdaq extends its losses as
the
well.
expectations were significantly higher.
US 30 now pulling up. See, the news, you know, it's different, affects things differently. Gold always likes to go the reverse when bad, and you can't just say it was bad news and US 30 will sell. This is manipulation happening here. You know, we see it all the time. We took the buy, we grabbed the buy, we won on the buy. Now we'll just wait for the sell. Now if it breaks here and goes up to heavy resistance, then brilliant, we'll take the sell at the top there. But bad news equals buys times. That's just the way it works. But you need something to give you the confirmation. The market will not always go the way you want it to, for various reasons. Know that. Gold, look at that, perfect. Grab that sell, that was amazing, just in and out. 225 bucks, and then now we're on a buy mission again. Wait for this RSI to creep in. Will you wait for this to break now? Don't do anything on gold. Wait. Trading gold. Wait for it to break this 1866 level. Remember, we've got news coming up. New home sales. This will be a kicker as well. If there's a big miss on these figures, and see how that higher than expected figure is positive for the dollar, which means negative for gold, while a lower than expected figure should be seen as negative for the dollar and good for gold. That's traditionally the way, not always. And again, make sure you've got other confirmations in place before you take the trade. That's what we're trading next. End our stream with.
Because the hedging cost vis-a-vis the Japanese yen is pretty expensive still. But I do think what we're seeing is some of the institutional players, you know, the insurance companies.
That market is all down.
Bogeys to meet, you know, they have hurdles to meet in the 5 to 6% area. And if you start looking at, say, triple B investment grade corporate bonds north of 5%, that starts to get pretty attractive for those institutional buy and hold accounts. So we're starting to see them nibble there, and I think that will continue. Whether or not we see Japan come back, I think is more a function of dollar yen at this stage of the game. We haven't really sold a lot or haven't really diminished too much, but I think we need to see the dollar ebb a little bit before we'll see a big pickup in the foreign central bank demand.
Kathy, have we priced in recession?
Not quite, but I think we're getting there. Obviously, the risk is rising. We have financial.
Is the rejection? That's a heavy resistance zone there. The breakout zone, 2 blue zones.
You know, eventually went too far and had to pivot back.
This is why US 30 is struggling. Also, I'm thinking now that the price is going to come the way of the news, and we're going to get a retest of this zone. But it depends on this economic data coming up now. 4 minutes, 5 minutes to the new home sales.
But I do think when you start to look at, say, high yield spreads, they're not at
Wait, we're not entering any trades. Now I've got a blue zone on the buy on gold. So if you were holding a buy, you should be out the trade now. Trading our blue zones, waiting for the zone to disappear and price to break above it for a continuation. Otherwise, wait for the RSI to dip, cast it to go red, and we're coming down for another sell.
Seeing some difficulty. And then we get an inflation scare and we whip around and we move back up and onward through 3% on the 10-year yield. Every time we do this ballet, we lose some confidence, don't we?
Yeah, it becomes a really tough market for longer term investors, particularly because there's so much volatility, and we've seen a lot of volatility, obviously, since late last year when the Fed pivoted. So it becomes difficult. But I don't know that an inflation print per se will send us back to 3%. I think it would have to be a worry that either we're accelerating demand too much or we're not slowing demand enough, the Fed's not acting aggressively enough. That would probably be what would trigger that move back above 3%.
Kathy Jones of the Schwab Center for Financial
US 30, yeah, trapped in that range, so we're just going to wait again. Gold still wants to go for it. We get back to 1868 level.
A bit of a retracement of yesterday's gains, or a complete retracement, I should say. And I'm trying to figure out the size and scope of an 8th weekly loss on S&P and NASDAQ. Basically, we saw the longest streak going back to 2001 with 7 weeks, the longest streak going back to 1923 for the Dow, for those who still track it, with 8 weeks of losses. Are we poised for yet another week? Is this the churn that just turns us lower?
Well, you can see, look, we just had gains, losses, pullbacks.
As we look at poor liquidity.
I haven't said this yet, and maybe
doesn't matter to us. You know, it doesn't matter if we're in a bear market, a bull market. There's always these opportunities for this true scalping. That's like a microscope on the market, zooming right in, getting these cheeky little trades that most people don't even get. And that's the whole idea behind the true scalping mentality, and using the time frames and the system we use. You know, bigger picture Bloomberg talks about doesn't really affect us that much. It's just you know, you need to know what the market is doing overall, so you can just keep an eye on it, and you know we're in a bear market, but for us we've taken some nice buys.
Money every single day. Snap technology, or is it like
gold?
It's basically pictures that go away after a while, so people, it doesn't have a record in the same kind of way. I'll explain it to you in the break. Coming up on the Balance of Power on Bloomberg Television and Radio, Rob Portman, Republican of Ohio.
I'm too much on TikTok. That's all there is to it.
This is Bloomberg.
Okay, we've got like a couple of minutes to go. Count down the news. Look on the latest saying about right on here. Reading about the recession. Hoping it's not going to happen. Again, people who are trading make much difference to us. We need in a recession. For trade, there'll be more retail traders. I earn extra money, you know, it's markets will always be here. Get ready. Your homes. Right, good luck everybody. Let's see what we're going to get on this.
I had a business call come in, but I was watching the charts, caught that nice buy on gold.
Yeah, I got the sell on gold as well. I went in on the heavy resistance and got the drop. That was brilliant. And then it pulled back up. Now we'll see what it does now. So yeah, I took a buy on gold and then got 4 sales. Brilliant. It's broken that resistance, look.
Yep.
Result is worse than expected. Boom. So yeah, it's going to be US 30 dropping and probably gold buying.
Gold up. Yep. That is pushing.
Exclusive interviews with the most influential figures in finance. Lloyd Blankfein.
Well, let's see. New home sales.
Kathy Wood.
Tesla will be in the position to dominate.
Jeremy Grantham.
We've had a very, very abnormal.
Worse than expected.
Bloomberg Terminal, then on Bloomberg Television and Bloomberg.com. Front row, the best seats in the house for business's greatest minds.
Gold Look at that. Is it going to head up?
See new concerts that go behind the scenes, plus acclaimed archival concerts. Visit pso.org/now, where the music plays on. PSO season sponsor, Bank of America.
That's when you out like this. US 30, we've just smashed everything there. We're just waiting to see if gold trades or not.
Over the past few weeks has made it clear it wants to go higher. It got a little spooked by the idea that geopolitical tension.
Now for gold, see if it's going to push up anymore. What do we get? So we got 34 on US 30, we got 43 on US 30, and we got 15 on gold on that news. Still waiting if there's any more. Sells on US 30s, it went the way of the news, and buys on gold.
Resulting chaos caused riots, civil unrest, and even deaths. Reporting this story took over a year, and it resulted in me flying to Manila in the Philippines to meet unlucky winners and to find out exactly what happened
anymore.
then in the 1990s.
Right on the resistance.
Seeing some resistance inside.
My name is Jeff Maish. I'm a journalist based in Los Angeles. I wrote the story for Bloomberg Business about Pepsi's Number Fever campaign. The Philippines is a really interesting country. It's made up of thousands of islands, and it's also a country that's very heavily influenced by America. American culture is everywhere you look in the Philippines. They're obsessed with Frank Sinatra music, for example. They love all things America, and that extends to their...
Gold's going to push, look. It's going to push.
Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola. In the 1990s, it was everywhere. Pepsi and Coca-Cola were embroiled in what is now known as the Cola Wars. It was a fierce battle for market dominance.
Yay.
Number Fever was...
Two nice buys on gold there, 31 and 31. 32 rather. One. 30, sorry.
Roll it out internationally, particularly in Asia. They thought it was the answer to their problems. They thought it could finally help them beat their biggest competitor.
The old pull back off that level there. Still dropping. Let's wait for the next break on that. Now we'll see.
$1 million pesos or
gold.
$68,000 doesn't sound like a lot now, but in 1992, that was a phenomenal amount of money. You've got to remember that in the Philippines at the time, the average monthly income was about $100. So $1 million pesos was wealth beyond anyone's wildest imaginations. Number Fever caught fire in the Philippines. Kids were saving up their pocket money to buy a bottle of Pepsi. Parents were squirreling away all of the bottle caps in bags.
Candles the key one. 17.
Trying to find discarded bottle caps.
Good. Up to the wins. What we got now? We are 1, 2, 3, 4 for the day. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. £903. Good. So we're 5. Get a final trade on gold or anything. US 30 dropping nicely.
For stealing their employers' winning bottle caps. There was even some murders over winning bottle caps. People were fighting in the streets.
Now dropping. They're doing a push.
There were signs that there were going to be problems with Number Fever very early.
Over. I'm going to take another buy, but if it's not going to break this level, I won't. Wait and see.
Had caused some kind of problem with the winning number. They'd announced the wrong one in Chile, causing riots. There were signs that there could be big problems ahead if they didn't keep their eye on the ball. So in 1992, Pepsi decided to extend the campaign in the Philippines, and they announced that the competition would go on for a few more weeks. One night, on the television,
Use result.
they announced
They're on trading view.
349.
Got a blue zone now, so it is a sell.
349 had already been
End of that move.
a non-winning number in earlier campaigns. So there were literally hundreds of thousands of bottle caps with 349 just floating around the Philippines. Hundreds of thousands of people all across the Philippines, thousands of islands, were finding winning bottle caps. 349, 349. Some people had 10 lucky 349 bottle caps. People were dancing in the streets, celebrating. They thought their problems were over. They were millionaires. It's still not certain exactly how many winners
nicely
of lucky 349 bottle caps, but we know that Pepsi printed over 600,000 of them. Pepsi realized very early that there was a problem. Hundreds of people started arriving at their bottling plants with their lucky bottle caps. They realized something was seriously wrong. Pepsi tried to solve the problem by offering a small
got 3 little cells on gold on that.
To their bottling plant. But it wasn't enough.
And 13.
Just a handful of pesos. People wanted a million peso prize. Within a year, violent protests and riots outside Pepsi factories would leave dozens injured and
That top out, as soon as you set a blue zone, then you've got to go the opposite way most of the time.
A grenade was thrown.
Way to do it. Never going to keep going up forever. I can see stochastic is red, RSI dipping down. That's what US 30s do. So reaching the end, neutral support level. Been lower, could have been higher, we don't know.
She was walking to a
With gold at the moment.
store to buy some rice one day when a Molotov cocktail was thrown at a Pepsi truck in a violent protest. It bounced under the truck and exploded. It killed her and an innocent bystander who was just a child and injured many others. When I was in the Philippines, I tracked down Anacita's daughter, Cindy, and her husband, Raul. It was clear
Right, that's about 40 trades today. Brilliant.
by the whole thing. You know, a family had been
5, half.
by this competition. And
Bank that. Start again tomorrow on 3.5.
told me that he'd gone to meet Pepsi executives after his wife was killed.
Beautiful rejection.
And he was angry.
Drop down further, look at that.
He said
Gold.
to them, you know, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for number fever. The biggest revelation from my reporting was rumours that Pepsi was somehow involved in bombing their own trucks. I found a newspaper report with a headline that said, Pepsi goons bomb their own trucks. And when I visited the MBI, the police department in the Philippines, they presented me with documents and interviews with people who claimed that Pepsi had paid them to cause riots and to cause trouble outside their plants in order to destabilize the situation and to frame the owners of the coalitions that were fighting them to try and curry favor. I just thought that was so shocking, and of course Pepsi denied.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Come on. Yes. Oh, brilliant. Got 6 positions there on gold. Took the sell on the lot. Went all in on that. Woo. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. 6 positions and got wins on them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 25, 34, 33, 33, 38 and 30. Bang.
Philippines was in a kind of love-hate relationship with America. They loved, obviously, the American aid and finances that was brought into the country, but at the same time, they yearned for independence.
I think I need to get with somebody. Yeah, still pulling. I think I need to get with somebody and see if I can have an EA coded for MT4 that does the same thing that IC Market does for you, which is just a solid 10 pip take profit.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes a big difference. Like I say, I've got it preset. I think I've got it on 8 pips on gold at the moment. That's enough. And I either take myself out of the trade or let it hit the 8 pips, you know what I mean? And if I'm trading one standard, which I'm on here, obviously that's more than enough because that's $1 a pip, you know. So, you know, that would obviously be $100, 100 points. You know, so I'm coming out of 8 to 8 if I want. I can go half of that, 5, and just grab, like I just grab there, do multiple trades. So it's definitely, yeah, if you can do something, it's a big thing, having that. So it's a safety net, but just in case the market goes really quick and you know, gets you out the trade, takes your profit, and you're done.
Well, I mean, the thing is, as long as your risk management is good, you can sit there and like whenever we wait for ideal setups, like we do with our system, you can sit there and fire 6 to 10 trades off, and it just automatically closing them out. So I need to get with somebody to see if I can have a script coded for MT4, somewhat of an expert advisor. Because it doesn't matter if you're on laptop, if you're on mobile, bro, it takes a minute for you to go back in and set a take profit. And you can set it from your execution screen, but you're still costing yourself valuable time whenever you need to be clicking that button and then letting them auto execute. So I need to get with somebody and see if I can get that coded.
That would definitely help. It's a good feature.
Because unfortunately, most of the brokers that we can utilize here in the States, we're stuck with MT4, MT5.
That's why I like that Robo FX, but you can't sign up for that, can you? Because they're C Trader as well.
Yeah. Yep. We can't even get access to the C Trader platform over here in the States. Like, it's completely locked out on the Apple Store. Not available in your region.
Also, there was a time my father was hospital due to heart failure. Still, he had to attend the 2-branch hearing. Otherwise,
Brilliant. Another 2 sells there on US 30. Jumped in on that break of that blue zone. We've got over 31 and 13. Recto. Now on that, as soon as I jumped on the screen and I saw that move, that's it. Seems that US 30 this time reacted better to the worst news on the home sales. But again, it was a well-off look at that. I mean, you know, they predict it to be 1%. It was minus 16 a month. So
They claimed that they didn't have access to anyone who was working at Pepsi that was around in those days.
You know, way worse. Insta sell, you know, you can't get any manipulation when it's that bad. Gold will be a buy again. Maybe it's gonna, if it's gonna bounce, we're just gonna wait again. The RSI is hitting the average line. I'll wait for stochastic to curl up if you want to be less risky. 1863, where it's at. 63, 1862, just dipped under. To sell, reject. Again, we'll just wait for a bounce. We know gold should be going higher because of that news, and it peaked up there and hit that ball and has dropped back down again. You know, as US 30 is tanking it up. Can move that as an official. Right, so I'm going to screenshot this to post on Instagram for us because that's good. Look at the go again. It was 30 breaking all the levels. Perfect. Really tanking now. Reading out again. Yay! 3 more trades. That's how you do it. As soon as you see that bright red, you get in. I got 23, 22, and 20 on that. In and out. Didn't wait for anything to TP. Just took myself out because again, you know, you're entering RSI 25. It's a in and out position. As soon as it goes bright red, we know we've got an extension.
Let them affect our life, whoever
So sell. Get in, get out. Look at that. Beautiful. Market's totally tanked. It's like taking the news from earlier, the PMI, combined it with the Homes news, which was worse than expected, and boosh, now the market moves. It's almost like it's waiting for both those news events. Crashing on both those news events.
I'm the journalist who wrote the article, The Get Rich Quick Scheme That Nearly Killed a German Soccer Team.
Sometimes it takes time to move the big ship when you get that news.
Dortmund is a mid-sized city in the western part of Germany in a state called...
That's it, that's
and it's a
good trades today.
City that's kind of fallen on hard times in the last few decades. It was severely bombed in the war.
Drop!
The city is stark.
All the way down to 1861.
Its soccer team.
Pulled back off of the resistance or the sport zone.
My name is Ike Henning.
Yep.
I'm a reporter with Bloomberg News, and I'm a great fan of Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund fans are super loyal. On all match days, the entire city is in black and yellow. It's like a religion.
Real question.
I think more than most German cities, soccer does play a very large role in the identity of Dortmund. In October of 2000, the BVB became the first team in the Bundesliga to actually go public. Salaries for soccer players in the Bundesliga have gone up very dramatically. With such high prices, they thought that by going public, they would be able to compete better with big teams like Bayern Munich.
Unfortunately, that didn't go too well. Dortmund bought too many expensive players, high wages, and the club almost went bust in 2005.
The price of their shares, it has sometimes gone up, but mostly gone down since they made that decision. So on April 11th, 2017, the team was
Any more moves?
on the outskirts of Dortmund.
Match days are always special in Dortmund. Everyone is looking forward to it. The team always meets in the same hotel ahead of matches.
They stayed in this hotel in order to have a kind of neutral space before games so that they could...
Gold's going to bounce off that level, creep back up. Now, RSI's rejected on that neutral zone.
Everyone was pretty optimistic they had a chance to go really far, maybe into the finals.
30, oh look at that, still tanking, beautiful.
I was in the office and getting ready for match day. Was going to meet with a
RSI's 18, like I told you, once it gets to that 15 level, you only look to take the buys. Wait, Stochastic is just about closing up now, so if you are in a sell, get out because, well, you know, get ready to get out because you're hitting heavy support, Stochastic's curling and you're oversold, so just, you know, area that. That's why I jumped in and out, grabbed those last few sells, and then away we go.
When the bus took off the parking lot of the hotel,
You can see it kind of all ramped up over all that news.
3 detonations, 3 bombs that exploded and hit the bus of Dortmund.
3 explosions occurred close
Gold
to
going
the
to now
Borussia
pull up.
Dortmund team bus.
And then I'll go back to that instant 1860.
The explosions destroyed 2 windows in the rear part of the bus.
People screamed, people jumped to the ground.
The fellow Dortmund fan I was supposed to watch the match with, he called me and said, turn on the TV, there was an attack on the Dortmund bus, and I thought he was like, that was impossible.
Quick look at Naz.
Players screamed at the
Naz just tanked as well, look at that.
keep driving as fast as possible because they were worried that people might storm the bus.
Investigators say the explosive devices used in the attack on the Borussia Dortmund bus contained metal.
Again, if you're trading Naz, they've got some amazing sells. And look at RSI's 9.
The actual mastermind behind the attack was, as they were disembarking, the bus was actually eating steak and sweet potatoes at the hotel they had just left.
Authorities are attempting to verify a letter left at the scene claiming jihadists were behind the attack.
Because there had been a series of attacks by Islamic terrorists in Germany and Europe, there was widespread suspicion in...
So I hope somebody grabbed these moves because it's wasted trading. You don't get many opportunities like this. You even get the bear signal, you just got to hold and wait for the drop. That, perfect.
There were, however, reasons to doubt this
Same.
narrative.
would actually be a surprise if ISIS were actually part of this attack. Possibly could be
pulling back off that
by
support zone.
groups like the far right wing to try and shift the blame.
The letters had some strange qualities. They were written in a strange German that used big, sophisticated words, but had basic grammar mistakes, as if someone was native German speaker but pretending to be a foreign person.
Federal investigators have detained one man suspected of links to Islamist terrorism, one of two suspects whose apartments were raided this morning.
Shortly after the bombing, a man in Austria named Rudolf, who was a big BVB fan, he noticed that something strange was going on the stock market related to the team's shares. He emailed the lawyers of BVB, who then forwarded that email on to investigators. The email stated that someone had bought 60,000 BVB put options, a wager that the value of the shares of the team would fall below a certain amount at a certain date.
Why would someone buy that ahead of a match and then 3 bombs go off? Something isn't right here.
For the person to make money off of that, it required the stock to go down quite a bit in a fairly short period of time. And it wouldn't just be the team losing a match, it would require something much bigger than that. There was another big red flag about this purchase, which is the fact that it had actually been made, number one, on the day of the bombing, but also from an IP address that had been traced to the actual hotel where the bombing had taken place.
When 3 explosions targeted the bus carrying the Borussia Dortmund footballers on April the 11th, written notes left at the scene claimed the attack was the work of ISIL. The truth, as is now alleged, is remarkable.
On April 21st, the police arrested a man in a southern German city called Tübingen. He was on his way to work, and his name was Sergei Venegold. He seemed like an unlikely suspect because he had no known connections to the Islamic terror world. He didn't seem like a far-right extremist. He didn't seem like a left-wing extremist either. He seemed to be a completely unremarkable young man.
A 28-year-old German-Russian man, named only as Sergei W., stayed in the same hotel as the players on the night before the bombing. He specifically requested an upper room overlooking the bushes.
Hit that heavy support, as I said.
The media dissected why he would do that, what was his...
It bounced up. Gold, yep, is also... I'm going to break this line here. We've got 10 seconds left on this candle. Is it going to be a buy on gold?
Stocks of French companies went down, and he believed that if an attack took place that was
We move on up.
at a specific company, that
Just gone green. Big bombing in. Well,
It never occurred to anyone that someone would do that out of greed.
We now know that the suspect bought 3 different derivatives on the Borussia Dortmund shares. With all these derivatives, he bet on falling shares. The suspect bought the majority of these financial products on the 11th of April, the day of the attack.
If the plot had
get to that heavy resistance zone. I'm going to get back to that 60.
Venergold would have made up to 570,000 euros, or the equivalent of about $608,000. Ultimately, the plan completely backfired.
The attacker, Sergei Venegold, didn't make any money. In fact, he lost money.
In court, he would be extremely quiet. He usually kept his hands clasped together. One of the lawyers actually commented that he had never seen a defendant act so calmly. Venergold had served some time in the German military. From that information and from online research, he was able to figure out how to assemble remote detonated bombs that would do what he hoped to do. There were a few days of extremely emotional testimony, including the soccer players who described doubting whether or not they could ever play another game again.
It brought everything back up, and it didn't quite help them to kind of process what was going on.
Throughout it all, he sat there completely silent. The big mystery that was swirling around the trial was
if that's going to push up.
he may have simply
I've just shut my broker down. Good day. say we're up to 5,700. So taking that out, back down to 3.5 for tomorrow's live stream. US 30, you can see there's on heavy support. So now you want to be waiting for highs back, start forming a nice W there. Wait for highs on US 30 and gold now. Good day today. Very, very happy with that.
He apparently began planning for this attack in earnest. The Intergold was charged with 28 counts of attempted murder, which carried the maximum sentence of
big moves.
He claimed that he had nothing to do with the attack, but as time went on, he admitted that he had actually been the person who had built the explosives and had set them off.
Big misses.
He claimed that he didn't want to actually kill him.
Cause the move.
Ultimately, Gold didn't receive the harshest possible sentence. He was given 14 years in prison, but it's still a considerable amount in jail in Germany.
Next slide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're done. Like I say, that's an hour of trading, and we're in. We're gonna wait and see. Yeah, gold's looks like it's gonna push up and hit that 1866. So keep an eye on that. See if you're gonna get a double top, a retest. US 30 is also pulling up, but then could hit this minor resistance and take a sharp drop down. Again, just wait for confirmations on. As always, if anybody wants information on how to join the group, go to www.mohawkforex.com and get us mentors and get access to the trading system that you see here before you. You can true scalp like we do.
And spend your tendies at Marks and Spencer's like we do.
Oh yes, I've already been today.
Oh, you already went?
Yeah, I've already been. Yeah. I went to the gym and I've already done the shopping. So yeah, no, I'm going to have a beer and chill out. And what I'm doing, I'll be back for the Fed speech. Powell, you know what I mean? We'll go for that on gold. Again, no stop loss, no TP. You're just firing trades in on this as he speaks, and we'll just wait for price action. So, you know, we've got a bit of money in the bank in the pot, you know, so we can have a bit of fun trading his speech using the RSI. So we'll be back for that. And then later on tonight in the group, I'll be back to trade the API crude oil. So we can end on a nice big winning day today. And then tomorrow, we've got one of our favourites to look forward to. We've got the GDP growth rate and consumer confidence for DAX on the Euro Open. So that will help set the first trades up for the day. And then we've got durable goods and the EIA, crude and gas. And then we have got the FTSE minutes. But durable goods is always a nice one, high impact, and again that's just before, an hour before the open. So we've got some trading to do this time before the open, then we'll do the open, and then we'll do the oil. So it'll be a good day scalping tomorrow as well. But yeah, back later on in the group to do the Fed speech, see if we can bag some extra pips on gold. We'll watch for this. I'll actually set this up now. Fed Power. See what he does later on. I think it's here, look. Hey, God. How? Yeah. Who knows where gold will be? And I can see there, look, I was right with the gold. It's nicely touching 1866 now. Look, heavy resistance. Watch for the break if you're going to go higher. And watch for the pullback if you're going to go lower. So this could be a nice double top if it breaks this. That's it. Thank you for joining me, Justin. Thanks again for jumping on board whilst travelling the US.
The resulting zone of
and
Absolutely.
we will be back again tomorrow to do another live stream. Travel safe, trade safe, everybody, and watch out for the Fed speech later on, because that will move markets. Make sure you're not in any trades talking, is what my advice would be. And also we'll go with the cable trade again tomorrow. That should be another good one. So till then, take care everybody, look after yourselves, and we'll catch you on the next stream. Yeah.
Take care, trade safe, cheers.